Story 1. Maddie and Sarah. It was December of 1995. I had just moved to Maine to live with my mother. Shortly after I moved in with Mom, someone bought the building that we were living in, so we had to move. Being a small community, it was hard to find a place. We called about a farmhouse that was in the paper. We checked it out, and we liked it, so we ended up moving in immediately. On our first day there, I had to get ready to go to work, so I was quickly gathering up some clothes and toiletries and headed out to the bathroom. I got it all ready and began to wash my hair. As I was doing so, something grabbed me, scared me half to death. I screamed, and my mom came running in to find out why I'd screamed. When I told her, she thought I'd completely lost it and told me to go ahead and get ready for work. So I did. When I got home that night, I was the only one there, and I heard a noise like a little girl crying. It really freaked me out. I called my best friend and begged her to come over. I told her why. She claimed to be able to talk to spirits, and when she came over, the really weird stuff started to happen. Doors started to open and close. Lights started to turn off and on. The crying doubled and got worse. She told me that she had a vision, and in that vision, she saw a trail of blood that went from the front room of the house, through the kitchen, and into my room. She said that my room did not look like my room. It looked like a bathroom. The trail continued through the wall and into the coat closet that is now the bathroom. She said that she felt two spirits in the house. Thinking that it was a good hoax put on by the landlord's son, I did my homework and spent the night at my friend's house. After that, we did not have much activity in the house until summer came along. I was packing up to move again, this time to an even more haunted house. It was late at night, and it was hot, so I propped my window open with a 2-inch thick stick. It was sturdy and strong. My cat jumped into the window and clawed to get outside. The stick in the window removed itself, sending the window crashing down, almost killing my cat. My cat had been nowhere near the stick. I freaked out. To this day, anytime my cat gets near a window that is open, the window comes crashing down. Sometimes when it's late at night, you can hear a faint cry that sounds like a little girl crying. After the incident, I named the spirits Maddie and Sarah. Sarah being the little girl. I have since moved away, but my mother still lives in the house. She later found out that what my friend said was true. There were, in fact, 2 murders in the house. A woman and a little girl. Story 2. True Haunts. I lived in Wilmington, North Carolina for a couple years. I lived downtown, and the house we lived in was pretty haunted, I'm sure. Many strange things happened there. Me, my sister, and my husband, who was in the Marine Corps, stayed together. He was gone a lot, and my sister worked a lot, so I spent quite a bit of time home alone. I first felt this house was haunted the day I moved in. It just felt weird. Lots of little things would happen. I would lay something down and come back and it would be gone. I would find it later somewhere else. I was in the kitchen one night, and my husband was in the living room. I felt something brush past my shoulder. It felt like a hand touching me. I thought my husband had came in the room, but when I turned around, there was no one there. While waiting for my sister to come home one evening, so we could all go out, I got in the shower. I heard the front door open and shut. I expected it to be her coming home from work, so I called her name. No answer. I got out of the shower and walked through the house. There was no one there. The most frightening thing happened to me one night when I was up late reading. It got really late. My dog was laying beside me. He got up and started growling, standing in the corner, barking and growling as if someone was there. I got him calmed down. He was calm for about a minute, and then he started all over again. I realized how late it was and decided that we should go to bed. My husband had been asleep for hours. I had been laying in bed for 5 minutes when I heard my name being called in the living room. I thought I was just tired and hearing things. Well, again, I heard my name called. This time it was closer. I knew I heard it this time. Then, a minute later, it was a man's voice standing outside my bedroom door, and he said my name. I started screaming for my husband to get up and look around the house. I thought someone was in there, but there was no one. We were alone. Lots of other things happened as well, like my hair being pulled, lights turning off and on. We would hear people talking in other rooms of the house, a man and a woman having an argument, but you could never quite make out what was being said. As soon as you'd get to the source, the talking would stop. I would love to know what was haunting that house. Story 3. The Black Thing. One night I took my daughter home, and it was about 2:30 in the morning. On my way back home, I looked in the side mirror of my Grand Prix, and to my extreme horror, there was this black creature walking behind my car. He was reaching out to touch my trunk. I swear he was at least 9 feet tall and totally black. He had no face, just a shiny head, all black. I was going 38 miles per hour, and he was just walking. I had a feeling that if he touched my car, I would die. He had big black hands with long claws. His feet came to a point with no toes. He was wearing a black smock-type thing that stopped just above his knees. I sped up to 45 miles an hour, and he was still just casually walking behind my car. I became very terrified, so I put the hammer down and really started to book it. He began to lose momentum, and I started to lose him. I came around a corner at a pretty high rate of speed, and I saw him catching up again. I screamed, "My God, here he comes again." So I floored it all the way. I could see I was losing him, finally. He was out of sight, and I made it home alive, which I didn't think I would. I was afraid to go to bed that night. I kept a light on all night. I couldn't rid myself of the terror inside I felt. He looked like something straight out of hell, and that's all I could think about. The next day, I was sitting outside at the picnic table, thinking about this creature, and all of a sudden I realized that this was not the first time I'd seen him. 1 year ago, at the same time of night, I was sitting outside at a picnic table with a friend of my son. He said, "Is that a man out there in the road?" I stood up and looked. I said, "Yes, I think it is." So Nate screams, "What are you looking at?" At the man. And he said nothing. So Nate repeated the question. He still did not answer. So Nate started running down the road. And when he got almost there, the man started running. And he ran up the driveway, across the yard, behind the chicken coop. Pretty soon Nate comes running back. And he said, "You will never believe this, but I was just about close enough to him, and he just vanished, disappeared." He was very upset, and I said, "Don't be upset, Nate. You know my house is haunted. It's probably one of our ghosts." He said, "Maybe you're right." But 1 week later, Nate was shot in the head and killed at a 7-Eleven. Besides being totally devastated by his death, I was afraid that the man he chased that night might have had something to do with his murder. So as I sat there at the table, I realized that it was the same creature that chased my car. I was filled with fear that I just can't describe. He came back the next year again, but I wasn't at home that night. I was at work, but my daughter was over at my house, and she called me at work, almost hysterical, and said that there was a large black creature outside looking in the window. I sent my son home right then. I knew right away who it was. He got there in 10 minutes, but the thing was gone. It did not come back again. So hopefully it won't be back, ever. But I still live with that fear, the fear of whatever that was and whoever that was. Thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed the show. If you did, give me a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button. I really do appreciate it. Bye.